This is going to be something incredible for the city. 2 kids with a dream got to do it.
We want experiences, stories, community.
We're recreating cities, we're recreating racetracks.
These objects, these artifacts remind us of experiences that we're always trying to keep close.
Most people who are passionate about both don't identify that most people are not connecting both in the same way.
This is something that Miami gets to own that doesn't exist.
Welcome to this very special episode of On Time, the Time to Drive edition. And I'm here with a friend, colleague, partner, and all of the above, my brother from another mother, Perri. What's up, man?
I'm happy to be here. It's my first time on set.
You're on set in Miami.
I know.
It's lively, you know what I mean?
It feels good.
You sweating yet?
No. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We got a trip coming up to Japan.
Yes.
And I hear it's going to be really, really hot there. So I'll save the sweat for when we're
I'm getting ready for my 50-cent tank tops.
Yeah.
You remember those? Yeah.
G-unit. Respect.
Man, listen, I'm so happy to have you here. We've definitely done episodes on both of the pods about watches and collecting, but today's a very, very special episode because I don't think people realize all the things we work on together on almost a daily basis. And I think the flag barrier of that has been the Time to Drive trips.
Absolutely.
That trip was a lot of fun.
Life-changing experience.
It was special.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I still think about it and get goosebumps to this day.
So a lot of people have seen things on both your social media or mine, or, you know, some of those videos really like when and where conversation pieces. I don't think people understood the why, or why we even like decided to do it, or I don't think people understood how we even decided to connect.
Yeah.
You know? And we were just talking about it off camera, but it's really crazy that right at the same time that I was transitioning from like a full-time entertainment executive into I don't even know what I call myself anymore. Maybe a tastemakers of watches and cars.
There we go.
I'm gonna give myself that self-title there.
That suits you.
You know, that suits me. But in that time, I did a trip to New York, and my publicist said, "Hey, have you talked to Perri and Rashawn about being on their pod?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't know them. I definitely am a fan, but I don't know them." And she connected us, and we had our first time. And I think, you know, in a non-crazy way, it was like love at first sight.
Sure, yeah.
It was like we talked the same language.
We did. Yeah, no, it was really refreshing when we finally met you. We were, I had seen you kind of making waves and circling the industry. There was a couple of videos I saw of you picking up you got a new watch.
Oh, got a new.
But there's the OG Clover. I remember seeing a video of you doing that, and then like looking kind of like into your back, and I was like, oh man, this dude is interesting. Like, I wonder who this guy is. And I think it was interesting. We had shared some back and forth messaging, and but then I heard from your publicist, and I think Rashawn also heard from you about whether we were just connecting, but being on the show. And then we were like, yeah, of course, like this dude seems cool as hell. And it really felt like we had another one of us, you know, someone who we identify with culturally, be it music, fashion, watches even, to invite on the show. And you came by and we shot that episode. And one of my favorite episodes till this day, we had a really great conversation about watches and culture. Your story and background, you know, being in New York, trying to build a career for yourself in the music industry, selling beat CDs outside of the studio, to everything that you've built today. And definitely a memorable episode for the Rich Check Pod catalog.
I mean, I think you guys had set the stage for what I would say was the cultural voice of a generation who started to collect watches. And that's what it was for me. And, you know, I tend to look at what I want to do in a space by thinking where it could be disrupted, right? And I love the fact that I felt Rich Check Podcast, and I felt yourself being in a place where you can disrupt. And I think that was really the initial conversations that got us both like, okay, what we could do together. Because it was this idea of, you know, how can we disrupt the typical watch event so that it's not a dinner or just a hang for the sake of a hang, but like, can have something different. And we originally started talking about Dubai Watch Week as an option.
Oh, yeah.
We're thinking of taking people on the desert and burying them and then discovering
all kinds of things.
But that led to the ultimate decision to say, let's put together the best of these two worlds. And I think for me, the idea of going on car rallies, which is something I was doing with my father already, and then merging kind of your knowledge and expertise and the experiences you had lived visiting factories and understanding movements and serial numbers. Because I'll be honest, my first time on Wrist Check Podcast, I was like, I hope they don't ask me. I hope they don't ask me for no damn numbers and movement parts and say, your boy's going to look real dumb in this on my first television appearance here.
That's funny.
But that set the stage for Time to Drive, which is what we're here to talk, because giving some little background on it. Keep it 100. When I first was like, yo, I got this idea to do something really crazy, did you think I was fucking nuts?
No, actually, I didn't. I was really actually intrigued. I remember the initial conversations we had. It was just like, yo, like the way you were explaining to me, I'd always felt, but I didn't necessarily know how to approach it yet. And the thesis of it was just like, yo, like these watch events, they're cool, but they never change. It's the same thing every time. And, I think we just being, you being who you are, us being who we are, we kind of vicariously provided excitement for everyone when we stepped into the space, but it wasn't coming back to us. And you were getting at something that was like, yo, we need something for us, for the people who are like us, the men and women that are looking for excitement, that are intrigued to learn and all of these different things. And I remember we just like, yo, we want to be outside. You were like, I got to be outside. Like, we got to move fast. We should do something with cars. And I was like struggling to come up with a name. We came up with like I came up with like Strata and like some crazy stuff. And then you came back and you were like, I got it. Time to Drive. And it was so simple and so straight to the point. I was like, that's it. It's brilliant. Yeah. And from there, we were just trying to figure out, well, where and when, right? And Dubai was an option. And I was like, man, it felt like it was too soon.
Yeah.
But what I appreciated about you was I thought I moved fast. I learned working with you, there's another level of fast. And I'm learning to move Lex fast. Yeah.
It's a different speed.
It's a different speed for sure. But I like being the person who has to now keep up, because vicariously through the Time to Drive event series, I've learned so much.
Yeah.
We could talk about, the initial trip that we did last year to Stuttgart. Like, I know, so you used to live in Germany.
Yeah.
What was that like?
So I think, look, the experience of experiencing other cultures, whether that's Toronto or the UK or some place like Germany, I think that the atmosphere and the vibe of understanding what moves a culture.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, historically the Germans have been engineers. They're just driven by design. They're driven by motion in a way that obviously has reshaped our world.
Yeah.
It's not only in automotive, it's in multiple different practices. And I think the idea for Time to Drive, for those who might be like, I don't know what Time to Drive is, was like, how do we truly take, a group of men and women and collectors to an experience where they can feel the thrill and the excitement that automotive offers, but the knowledge and the information that the watch industry offers that unfortunately is missing from automotive. And we put together this trip into Stuttgart, into the home of Mercedes-Benz, and out into Geneva and Switzerland as we visited some of these incredible manufacturers. In a month, we put it together.
Yeah, that was insane.
I remember thinking like, we're really stretching ourselves telling people to participate on a trip where they're going to be away from their homes for like 7 days a month from now.
Yeah. I remember when we landed and we got in the day before, there was a moment when you looked at me and you were like, oh shit, this is happening.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But I want to ask you too, you know, having spent time in Germany, and I know how much of an automotive fan you are. Where did your love of like automotive start? Like, how did you get into cars?
So I grew up in a family where my father was a race car driver. And prior to him even being a race car driver, he collected Matchbox cars. My grandmother, you know, used to always bring him into these Matchbox cars as his gifts or whatever it was. And so he had this beautiful vitrine with like, I don't know, 400 of these cars. So I remember since I was a little kid, just like wanting to like break the glass to play. And he would always give me like one or two and I'd break them. And then ultimately started racing because he started racing. So I started karting and becoming a lover for automotive. And then my dad was always big on television. He was always big on, I think that's also where my love for entertainment came from, was he generally enjoyed a great film. He was a huge James Bond fan, right? And therefore then also Knight Rider and Kid and and
classics.
You know, and the A-Team. He loves the A-Team. I love it when a plan comes together, which I'm going to start using every time we do something. I love it when a plan comes together. Actually, that's going to be the tagline. But in all these TV shows we were watching at the time, a car was at the center of it. Miami Vice, Kid, the A-Team. Everybody remembers the A-Team band, right? And so I grew up looking at these cars and saying, man, one day I want to own this. Like the car is such a part of the excitement of life, because my father, like when he was not doing that, he was essentially working on a car, or there was always a car project that he was working on. So there was this passion of automotive, and I was, as a kid, playing with the cars, imagining like, oh, I jump off a ramp, and I did, and my imagination was growing. And I think that that's something that unfortunately a lot of kids have lost today.
Yeah.
Because one, a lot of kids are not playing with cars the way we used to, right? Like now you have an option of watch some television or get on your phone or go on Instagram. So you weren't doing that excitement. I was in high school building little lowrider cars like this 118 that would jump.
Wow.
And I would make them jump, you know, and I would airbrush them myself. And it was like, it's always been a part of me to create around automotive. And I think the missing piece in automotive today is that, right? It's become a high level, you know, a cultural movement of collecting for value. But even the days of Fast and the Furious, I don't know, you remember when that movie came out, everybody was tuning their cars. It was a Honda Civic, whatever it was, like that has toned down. There's still a community of that, but it's toned down at the level that it was prior to that. And so that love of automotive and that core of like creating and having a kid experience a car show in a different way and get excitement, I think it's been the driving force, even in how we talk about time to drive. And you see it when you look at the videos that we put out. When people were driving, the smile on their faces.
I mean,
I know mine was
infectious. Yeah.
I know you were next to me, and I was like, you know, this is the best time of my life, you know?
No, so it, I mean, it's interesting that you say that, because I do remember the experiences that we have. I remember them like they were yesterday. Like I can literally like picture and have flashbacks. But it was everyone kind of, you know, we literally went to Germany, but mentally we were also just like in our own time and space. Like it was like nothing else was happening around the world. Everyone forgot about everything else. And you had this group of collectors that were enjoying each other's company, learning about Porsche at the Porsche Museum. I remember when we got to the track with AMG, how excited everyone was. I never saw a group of men pull their phones out so fast, like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? It was awesome. And, you know, me not necessarily being a car enthusiast like yourself, I definitely do appreciate more from the design aspect. It got me looking at cars in a different way. And I think one of the things that really had an impact on me, especially through our connection, was seeing the similarities that existed between watch collectors and car collectors.
Talking about watch collecting, See, I feel like that excitement I feel, and not that I don't feel it for watches, because I love watches, but I see it in you. I saw it as a fan looking into the Rich Check podcast every time that you would talk about a new watch you just got.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I've seen it now as your friend and being around you enough when you bought a new watch.
Yeah.
And I see it just like 20 minutes ago when we were picking out watches at Adams, and there's a bunch of amazing things. And I see you holding, and I see you pick up the same watch and you
I
put
know,
it
it's
on.
crazy.
Like, why watches? Because you're people don't understand that you're a curator of culture. Like every time I've been around you, you're a well-read person. You understand art. You understand cuisine and food. Like you're not like a one-trick pony. You're like a well-rounded curator. And I think brands and people really see that, but I've definitely have seen that over the past whatever year that I've known you.
I appreciate you saying that. That's high praise coming from you. I think for me, I don't think I know. Watches they're an emblem that consolidates my perspective on the world, right? There's engineering. The fact that like you don't need this thing, but that there's this whole hidden world inside of like parts moving, things ticking that measures something that you can't even hold fascinates me. And the fact that there are people who dedicate their lives to studying how to create these things fascinate me. And then there's the beauty, you know, I mean, they're incredible objects at every price range. I think I learned to appreciate it. I know I learned to appreciate it through my grandfather. My grandfather was a jazz percussionist and worked for the MTA for 30 years. But he was someone who I always looked at as like being a gentleman's gentleman. And he had a watch for every occasion. And it was the first time I had come across someone owning more than one watch. I thought it was, I didn't get it. And he explained to me that he had a watch that he wore at work. He had a watch that he wore when he played a gig, special occasions, went fishing, etc. And I always wanted to be like him. So in addition to the engineering and the beauty, which I think we both can appreciate also about cars, you said art, food, etc., there was this thing that grounded me in connecting me to my grandfather and the idea of existing in this space, but also existing in another time, and what that means for me as being a man, being the kind of man that I saw my grandfather. And the fact that objects can do that, I think is amazing. And it sounds similar to what you've explained with, you know, your relationship with cars. There's something about these objects, these artifacts that transcend what they are and remind us of experiences that we're always trying to keep close. And sometimes people.
Yeah. I think the greatest part of Time to Drive, for me, that trip, what we're about to do, you know, in Japan, or what we would have done depending on when this comes out.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think the greatest thing from Time to Drive, from our first trip and the current trips, and it's going to lead up to what we're going to keep talking about, this special project we're working on, is that the two worlds have an experience that I think every man and woman should experience. There is this thrill and this ride and this sense of control and emotion that sitting in a car and driving at this work of art, the speed at the limit of your body and your senses and your focus, that I think it is the purity of who we are as humans. I when I race, I always say that it's the first time that my brain stops thinking it. And it just ultra focuses into this moment. And therefore your enjoyment is like so pure. But then I think watchmaking and the discipline and the understanding of problem solving and the craftsmanship of the core of not only artistry from a visual presentation, but from an engineering presentation is so unique. And most people don't actually get an opportunity to experience watches the way you and I do because we are in this business.
Yeah.
And I think Time to Drive took these two worlds that you and I love so much and exposed it to a whole group of people who, while they might have been collectors of both things, hadn't experienced this. The truth is, you can't experience the Mercedes test drive just because you are a collector. Like, this is actually where they test the cars. Shutting it down for us cost them a lot of money.
It did.
You know? And then you could be a massive collector, and most massive collectors don't get to experience the manufacturing tours and touch watches and see watches that are not coming out and visiting because these people manufacture watches there. They're at work. They're just giving you an opportunity to see them work. But they're working. Like, and you're disrupting their workflow of that day or that time. And so bringing those two worlds, I think our biggest mission was completed in the opportunity of sharing the intersection of both of these worlds in a moment of time and space, you know, which for the first Time to Drive was 5 days. For Japan, you know, it's 7 days. And for our next European trip, it's 10 days.
Yeah,
some points going to be a month. We're on vacation. But with that in mind, you've been in the watch industry now for multiple years, not only from the media, from a tastemaker, but also working at retail and understanding the retail experience and working at corporate inside a company. What do you think is missing in the watch experience as a collector and as a person inside the business?
That's a great question. I think what's missing is the excitement. Too much of it is kind of like the same dog and pony show. I mean, it's easy to get excited about like a new release, but it fades and it's not memorable. And so the watch world is really missing curated experiences, right? And I think, and this was the crux of like what we were trying to solve. Like, how do we create something centered around this thing that we love that's memorable, that people can take with them, that creates the same level of impact that one might have when they discover watches, when one might have when they get behind the wheel of a car the first time? How do you recreate that spark and then extend it? And the watch world doesn't have that. But with the project that we're working on, I think this is the first time there's a chance and an opportunity to actually create that. And I think this is going to change both industries, which is a unique thing to think about, because in what world does a singular event completely change the landscape of two separate industries, two separate communities, through bringing them together? It's a really unique idea.
I agree. And I got to be honest, you know, I would say I'm an outsider, right? Like, I think when looking into watches, I was a collector by myself too. Like, I wasn't collecting in community. I am not as well read as you are. And
I think you give yourself a little more credit than that. You're doing all right. I saw the watch box.
No, I mean, but you know what it is I generally is driven by my passion to discover things and have good relationships that I learn quickly. But I'm definitely not as incredibly read as most people are within the watch business.
I think that there's something there, right? And the what I love about the Time to Drive series and the passion that you bring is that you don't have to be, and that's okay, right? The fact that there's like, we're going to create opportunities to bring the information to you, but we're going to meet you where you're at. And if you have an eye for aesthetics and an eye for design, that's incredible. That transcends industries, right? Your love of cars and automotive experiences, like, it's very curated. It's very knowledgeable. You're very well read in that area. I can't look at all Porsches look the same to me. I'm like, when you start naming numbers, I was like, all right, 911, 918, 911. I don't know.
924.
Yeah, right?
920. No, but yeah, I think you nailed it. I think the idea is meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
And allowing people to feel the unity of their pure passion with a community and an event that respects that beyond them needing the knowledge. Because I think it happens in the car business as well. You know, you go to Cavallino or you go to Moda, you go to some of the biggest car events in the world, you see the car people there expect you to know the car.
Yeah.
So you'll never see the car there with this massive television telling you the whole history of the car. It's like, oh, you don't know what that is? This is not for you. You know? And in a lot of ways, you know, the watch events tend to be from a perspective of like, you know, you're lucky to own our watch.
Yes.
So you should already know what we are, because then if not, you're not a real collector to us.
Yeah.
You're not part of the clique. And I think people experience that when they maybe try to go buy their first watch at an AD, because they experience this kind of bullish,
Sure, yeah.
you know, like you're walking in jeans, you're not the guy with the suit that can afford my watch.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but it's the experience we talk about. And I think what we are looking to do and did with Time to Drive, with the trips, and now with a very, 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 very special event.
Right now is probably a good opportunity to explain what the event is. I love the way that you talk about it. What you capture from your perspective with respect to this event that we're doing, and some of the ideas that you've brought on, because you've thought about a lot of nuanced details to create those moments, whether they're centered around food, smells, some of the brands that we selected. So Time to Drive is evolving.
It's evolving.
And what is launching this fall?
You know, for everybody who supported the first trip, who looked, who got FOMO, who spent time looking at the trips that we've been doing, our collaboration, our love for watches and cars, we decided to take Time to Drive and bring it home to Miami in a physical festival, the Time to Drive Car and Watch Festival in Miami, November 7th and 8th, at the intersection of these two very incredible worlds. We are creating an experience that has everything you want, from a sensory, from an interaction, from an excitement, from a collecting point of view, from a retail point of view. We're going all out.
We're going all out.
It's really the first watch car event of this scale that I've seen.
I think these cars are way more than just a physical form of transportation.
It's not just about the watches.
It's a statement of self-expression.
Watch or car is an expression of who you are as a person.
I think there's been a shift in culture and a shift around community.
Why do you think an experience like this hasn't been created until now?
Logistically, this is a nightmare.
Sometimes people are scared to take risks because Lex Borrero wasn't around to create it.
Seems like circumstances of the world kind of merit something like this.
It requires different perspectives and ideas.
I don't think anybody has bet enough on the community itself.
What do you think makes Miami the perfect location for Time to Drive?
Miami is the cosmopolitan city in the United States.
Is a hub for the world.
Florida kind of has the pulse of the nation right now. People are really drawn to it.
There's a heartbeat there that's just a little bit different from any other U.S. city.
Why merge cars and watches?
I think they're very complementary to each other, and it's a natural fit.
The synergies exist because they're both analog creations.
The watches are mechanical cars, you know, the way they work, how the gears, everything works.
I feel like they forever have gone together.
What do you hope people walk away feeling after Time to Drive Miami?
I hope that they feel like part of the community.
The whole purpose of it is to connect with people.
I hope they feel the authenticity of it.
To understand the history of the car and how we built.
A renewed passion. They're going to be like, this is something I want to get into.
Because when those two worlds collide, and you also introduce the world of music and entertainment, it's the results that I'm most excited about.
There is always going to be a sense of community in the car and watch world, no matter at what level you are participating.
People don't understand. This is like 90,000 square feet in the heart of Miami.
Massive.
It's massive.
It's crazy.
I mean, 90,000 square feet. That's like 40 houses in that.
And it is a wild idea. It's so wild that we were looking back and it was like, why hasn't anything like this been done? It's such a great idea. What do you think is the reason why nothing like this has existed?
Talking with another one of our colleagues who runs a big media company inside watches, he identified something that I think is really tricky. He said, most people who are passionate about both don't identify that most people are not connecting both in the same way. But then the people that are identifying it then don't tend to have the resources or the know-how on how to pull it off.
Right.
And both worlds have their own world to worry about. So they're not usually thinking about piecing it together. So it took a very specific group of people in a very direct time in the journey of collecting, in the journey of both of these industries.
Yeah.
Right? I think the automotive industry is going through a struggle, a financial struggle. The watch industry is going through a boom.
Yeah.
And two people who love and are passionate to this to say, let's bring together these two groups, the guys that love and are motorheads and love cars, that love watches but don't know really much about watches and are a little bit scared to jump in, and the guys who are in the watch clubs and they love all the watches and they might have a Porsche or they might have a Ferrari or they might buy something, but they're not necessarily the guys who understand a V8, V12, or they know the classes of 911s that there is, and bringing them together to show them how similar they really are, how similar the communities are, and how they can engage with each other in a very distinctive way as they have on our trips. And you mentioned a key word there that's hitting home for me, and it's community. Yeah.
And I think that's the glue, right? When you look at like how we met one another, how we got close, the ideas started flowing. It wasn't based on a transaction.
Yeah.
It was based on a shared experience and understanding, a way of seeing the world and wanting to share that. And I think, to your point, that's what the industries were missing. They're so focused either on the boom or climbing out of some kind of hole that they're seeing things in a very one-dimensional perspective, whereas the patrons who are involved, whose attention they're trying to capture, are like, man, we want experiences. We want stories. We want community.
In a world where we tend to think that we're more connected than we've ever been because of social media, we're probably more disconnected than we've ever been. And it is why, as adults, we're yearning to find friendship again. We're yearning to find a group of people that share some passions and some love, that we can also share our human struggles. And I think when we think about that in the community of automotive and horology, we think about Time to Drive at the epicenter of that. And when we think about what we're doing, I think that the first thing that we were trying to solve is, how do we regain the love for automotive by positioning a car festival in a different way? And we talk about entertainment and culture. We talk about the tuner revolution. We talk about racing and motorsports as kind of the three ways most people fall in love with cars. But we said, I mean, we're in entertainment. Let's go bring it down, you know? So we are bringing in, high level experiences. We're recreating cities. We're recreating racetracks inside this 90,000 square feet to better tell the story of some of the most incredible race cars, some of the most incredible cars that we love from movies and entertainment and culture that artists have owned, that have provenance to them. And then we're showing people why there's a huge tuner revolution that has always been a part of the automotive culture, but that most people don't get to experience in a day-to-day by smelling the grease in the tires, by seeing engines out of cars and seeing that feeling. And to me, the best of automotive is when you get to experience what it truly is. And what it truly is not a car sitting on a green of a golf course. What it truly is dirt. dirty, it's grimy, it's smelly.
Yep.
The tires are burning, the motors, the engines are on. You know, there's this prestigious presentation around the car that just says, I drive the car.
Yes.
It's not just a sitting beautiful thing in one garage that I clean 3 times a week. No, it's driven. It has movement. It has motion. And that's what we're bringing. And then we're honoring 2 very important things, I think, in the automotive world. One is the icons of Stuttgart.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you have grown up in our generation, we've seen the best of Germany and the best of Stuttgart with Porsche and Mercedes and what they've done for the automotive industry and the communities. And then if you're part of the younger generation who maybe were playing video games, right? You grew up playing Gran Turismo.
Yep.
You love what they call the driver era's cars, right? The 90s to 2000 cars, the Group A's. And we have an amazing exhibition where we're bringing some of these incredible JDMs, some of these Group A cars, some of these Lambos that you grew up watching in a video game live, so you could touch them, so you could feel them, so you can smell them, so you can enjoy the excitement of automotive in that. But that's not all.
That's not all. And then we have watches. And we have some incredible brands, both that are important culturally, that are seriously engaged with the community, that touch on design and aesthetics in a way that's really, really fun. But then also brands that are completely innovative. You know, we have Dominique Renaud, who is an amazing watchmaker with a storied past that has developed his own brand that he's put his name on, and his watches will be there. We have serious anchors with serious history and heritage like Tudor, who is taking over several booths and going to bring product as well. Additionally, we've gotten the community involved, and we have a number of watch clubs that are represented from around the U.S. that are going to be stationed with us there, in addition to many of the dealers that you know from the online world. Shout out to Roman Scharf over at Luxury Bazaar, our friend Adam, who we were just with at Mental Watches. And so it's going to be really incredible. There's also going to be some programming, live podcasts and video shoots with some of these people and brand representatives, including some secret celebrities that we have stopping by.
I hear that this incredible company, and I know most people who collect watches and cars have seen the incredible Azuline as a brand that has done so many amazing pieces of art in the book format. They're really releasing a very special, very special book for the community that we're not allowed to say. We're on the NDA, but you will experience it live and indirect. And I hear we might be having some special time to drive editions, and you know, it's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's going to be exciting. I mean, just from not only an experiential level, but from a program level. Why Miami, Florida?
Look, I grew up in the city. And for many years, Miami was this place you came to vacation with the idea of beach, fun, casual wear, pretty women, right? A whole lot of drinks.
Yes.
And that was it. It lacked an identity beyond that of South Beach, right? It lacked what New York had and Chicago had for very long times. And when you see London have these ideas of these cities that have culinary expressions of themselves, and it had a lot of things. It always has had an attitude. It always has had a feeling behind it, and a beautiful skyline, because you could understand the beach part of it.
Sure.
But that part was missing. And what you're seeing now is Miami has become the fastest growing cultural hub in America, because every culinary, incredible restaurant and chef have a restaurant here. We now have cultural icons and you know, not only the superstars and the musicians, but the billionaires, the heads of tech, biggest tech companies are coming to Miami. And so it's created a space where Miami is now paradise for anything within our luxury space. So you'll see the craziest watches here. You'll see the craziest cars in valet.
Yeah.
You're not at a car show. You see Paganis in valet like it's a Sunday drive. You know, you see people tracking their Paganis. The amount of exposure to wealth and everything else is here. But at the same time, this is the doorway to Latin America, to a whole nother world of cultural relevancy, to experiences and things, and that really have made Miami what it is today.
Yes.
So for us, it's still a city where most of the major companies don't market it. If you think about the amount of watch events that have happened in New York, Chicago, San Francisco, now even Dallas.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. This is for us, by us.
That's it, baby.
And I remember that FUBU line. If you grew up in our era, you remember, but it's like for us, by us. And what we mean that is we've gotten every cultural mover and shaker and tastemaker in Miami involved in this event. This hasn't been the Perri and Lex show. It's been the Miami show. This is us showing out as a city. So shout out to every single person, from the car dealers to the watch dealers to the tastemakers in food to the tastemakers in music to all the brands that are local that have supported and are supporting this event, and all the external brands. I mean, I still think, and I was like, we have over 40 brands from Switzerland to Germany to Japan.
Crazy.
In the watch business that are coming to this incredible experience to showcase what they do best. This is going to be something incredible for the city. And I'm just excited that 2 kids with a dream got to do it.
Amen.
You know?
I love it. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait. And this is just the first one.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's going to be one of the most exciting things, is to see how this thing evolves, right? Where it goes from here. Maybe it visits other cities as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, listen.
I called it today, and I think it's going to be the crowning name. If you love cars and watches, this is your Coachella.
Ooh, I love that.
So the growth of this from a musical, cultural, car and watches. If you love cars and watches, this is your Coachella.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't miss out. Time
Stay
to Drive
tuned.
Fest.
It's coming.
It's coming. Man, it's a good combo.
It's a great combo.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have this. This is crazy that this has been just over a year.
I know. Imagine year 2.
I mean, this is insane. We did Germany and Switzerland. We got Japan coming up. We got Europe coming up.
Yeah.
And then we got the festival. And it's just, to me, it's a testament of what happens when people have ideas and big dreams and they pursue them. They declutter the noise and they just move forward and forge ahead. But they do it through friendship. They do it through community, shared experiences, and taste. And to me, that's what Time to Drive is.
It's Time to Drive Car and Watch Festival in Miami, November 7th and 8th.
Let's
you heard
go.
it from us. Let's get it going.